All right. So Mortal Kombat is finally putting out a collection of their classic games. Something that's been waiting, we've been waiting for this for years, it seems like. Feels like a long time we've been waiting just to get a convenient collection of the classic old games onto modern day consoles with online. Just to play for fun. Um, so Digital Eclipse, they're the ones that did what was it? The Street Fighter collection. They did a Ninja Turtle Cowabunga collection, which so what collections they've done already. I'm only experienced with the Cowabunga collection, and they did a pretty good job with that. Not perfect, but pretty good job. Where yeah, I'm looking so forward to this. Um, we're gonna be getting. See, I got it right here. So just go through the quick list of confirmed games so far. We're gonna get the original Mortal Kombat from '92, arcade version, SNES, Genesis, Game Boy, and Game Gear. Mortal Kombat 2 for arcade, SNES, Genesis, Game Boy, and 32X. Mortal Kombat 3 for arcade, SNES, and Genesis. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for arcade and SNES. Mortal Kombat 4 just arcade. Mortal Kombat Advance, which for Game Boy Advance. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance for the Game Boy Advance, and Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition for the Game Boy Advance. And then there is more. It's confirmed that there will be more games than that. We don't know how many more, and we don't know what ones. Um, Out of these games, I can tell y'all right now, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, playing on arcade and the SNES on the Super Nintendo versions, that's the best game out of this whole lot. That's the one that I would expect is going to be played the most and be the most popular to play competitively at all in this game. Um, Ultimate Mortal Kombat. That's because Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is literally the best competitive Mortal Kombat game until you get to MK9, 10, 11, where we're at today. Till you get to the WB era games, UMK3 was the best as far as competitive speaking goes. Um, I think it's interesting that we got, one. I'm not very familiar with Mortal Kombat Advance, uh, the Game Boy Advance game, or I actually I am aware. I was made aware of this like maybe a year or two ago, but for some reason I wasn't aware of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance Game Boy Advance version because Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition is literally Deadly Alliance, but with Serena, Noob Saibot, and Sector in it. So it'd be cool to these handheld games, these old handheld games. It's gonna be cool to go back a few of these to go back, be able to play them if you haven't before and check them out. I've played Tournament Edition, but not all of these. All of them, not Advance or Deadly Alliance on the Game Boy Advance. So it'll be interesting to see what those have that maybe other versions don't have and whatnot. Um, but all in all, a lot of people are already being like, "Where's Mortal Kombat Trilogy? Where's Mortal Kombat Gold?" I have not seen, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section, but I have not seen Digital Express or Express Digital Eclipse work on like in their collections. I think all their collections were no more than doing stuff on 32-bit consoles, like all arcade and as far as console wise, like 32-bit and lower. Um, So, Mortal Kombat Gold, Mortal Kombat Trilogy weren't released on 32-bit consoles. So I'm wondering if that's why we won't get those. And if that is the case as well, then a lot of people want 3D era games, Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon, and Shaolin Monks. Uh, but I get the feeling that they're not going to be a part of this collection, though I'm really not sure. It's hard to say. I'd love it for them to. I'd love there to be special. I even want special forces and Sub-Zero mythologies on on this collection. I'd love that. 'Cause I would play them even though they are a pain in the butt to play through. I would play through both of them live on my channel. It would be great. It'd just be some great MK nostalgia fun, basically. Um, which this whole thing is really. But yeah, I worry that they might be adding more to this. I get the feeling that they might not be adding much more to it. Like maybe they'll be adding more different versions of the games. Speaking of versions of the games, that's we'll talk about that in a second. But hell, let's talk about now. I'm wondering if we'll have multiple versions of each of these games, like the arcade ones, of the arcade versions of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and 4, and UMK3 as well. What will we only have like one certain version that we can play, or will we have all the different revisions of these games to select and choose different versions to play? That would be really awesome. Because, for example, Mortal Kombat, like the first Mortal Kombat game, Reptile wasn't a secret character in the initial release. He wasn't added in till later. And then, if I'm not mistaken, the last version, updated version of the 1992 Mortal Kombat, they took Reptile out actually. But I don't know if it was intentional or not. But like the Reptile fight, to the best of my knowledge, is not accessible in the last version of the Mortal Kombat 1992 game that they did for the arcade. So it'll be interesting to see what versions we do have for the arcade games, or if we will have multiple versions in there to play. Um, I'm all for Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Mortal Kombat Gold, but even then, of all the Midway era Mortal Kombats, the top game is Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 arcade and Super Nintendo versions. There's nothing else beats it. Um, but I would love to have everything else because I want to play it all. I love that we get these kind of collections. I feel like I buy collections more so than brand new games these days, or remasters more than a brand new actual new game more often. So it's just because of this great stuff. But it's not just the games that's going to be on here. They're also going to have like exclusive interviews and behind the scenes stuff and like never before seen art and whatnot. Just all of that's going to be really cool, and the way that they uh, are making like a whole kind of digital museum of sorts for Mortal Kombat in this collection, go over its whole history and stuff. I'm going to be very interested in seeing how good they do with that, how accurate they do it. I hope that it's uh, not a bunch of mistakes here and there, because a lot of things about Mortal Kombat's history can be kind of confusing or misconstrued. So misconstrued, I should say. Um, but yeah, all that footage and stuff, that's going to be a joy to go through, and it's going to be awesome if you have like access to like, okay, MK1 bios, 2, 3, all bios and endings just like that to look up anytime you want or look through. Um, it's gonna be some great stuff. I mean, even without getting more, what games are confirmed right now, 100% satisfies me. Excuse me, 100% satisfies me, and I'd be getting this collection just based off what we know of it already. Any more that we gonna get from here is just extra. But I really hope that I do hope we get everything from the Midway era. I really do. I would love this to be like, here's the Midway Mortal Kombat collection. Put in, but that means we need to get Mortal Kombat Gold. We need to get uh, Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Sub-Zero Mythologies. Uh, we need Deadly Alliance. We need GameCube version of Deception. We need Armageddon. We need Shaolin Monks. I would even want them to also put in, though I could maybe see this one not happening, but I would want, MK versus DC universe. That's part of the Midway era, technically. So I'd like that in there as well. I'd like, uh, there's one more thing. Oh, Mortal Kombat Unchained for the PSP. That right there would be, having all of those in with what we got here would be a very satisfactory, uh, complete collection. Even though it wouldn't be 100% complete because we don't have every handheld version and every console version. I don't think you need every handheld and console version, to be honest. Though I will say there is one Game Boy game missing that I'm kind of curious why. So, like, we're gonna be getting Mortal Kombat the 1992 and Mortal Kombat 2 both on the Game Boy. The first Mortal Kombat on the Game Gear and the second one on 32X. Why is there no handheld version of Mortal Kombat 3? I want that for the Game Boy. And I only want that specifically for the Game Boy because that's what I had as a kid. I had Mortal Kombat 3 for my Game Boy. It was one of two games I ever owned for the thing. Uh, was it great? No, not necessarily, but it was Mortal Kombat on the go, and I just want it only for nostalgia. I want Mortal Kombat 3 on the Game Boy, and I would play it some just for nostalgia reasons, and that's it. But I'm kind of surprised that we don't have a Game Boy version of Mortal Kombat 3 in there. 100% fine with it not being in there, but I do want it just for my own nostalgia. But I don't think it's really needed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. As far as it's going to be awesome to have rollback netcode, and actually, I can say when it comes to two-player games, that Digital Eclipse does a good job with two-player online rollback. Now, when involving three or four players, they don't know what they're doing as far as my experience with Digital Eclipse. So just for example, in Cowabunga Collection, it's the Ninja Turtle collection, right? You got the old Ninja Turtle arcade games, right? Which are four players. Well, you play three or four players online in any of those games, and the experience is completely horrible. So horrible that becomes unplayable. Um, you cannot have it's like nearly impossible to have an actual good experience playing a four-player Ninja Turtle playthrough of the arcade game from the Cowabunga collection that Digital Eclipse did. Two-player, no problem, great. Matter of fact, they have um, the Super Nintendo version of the tournament TMNT Tournament Fighters on the collection, Cowabunga collection, and that's online with the rollback. It has literally some of the. It's like one of the best playing online fighting games that there is of everything, even compared to new releases. Like it has, but I mean, it's on such an old game. But I'm telling you, the online for two players, great. So going through this Mortal Kombat, well, Mortal Kombat just is a two-player game, so I don't expect there to be that issue. So I do expect all the games to play hella great online. To be honest, I think they're going to play just fine. Um, but as what versions, some people are under the misconception that all these versions, all these games are going to be playable online. That will not be the case. We're only going to get the arcade versions of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and Mortal Kombat 4. Those, all the arcade versions will be online, and then some console versions will be online. Some console versions. So I would expect the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 to be the Super Nintendo version. I expect that to be online. I'm not 100% convinced that anything besides UMK3 Super Nintendo will be online as far as the consoles go. But the top candidates for there being such would be Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo and Genesis, or Mortal Kombat 2, basically Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo and Genesis. Um, would be possible candidates to be online as well. All the handheld versions, so Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, 32X, none of those games, none of those versions will be online. None of them will. So I just wanted to clear that up right now because some people think it'll be everything that's going to be online and whatnot. It's like that's just not the case. But yeah, I'm looking so forward to this. It comes out this year sometime. Not a solid date, just sometime 2025. Um, my my guess is that it probably won't come till September or October because we're going through this run, uh, the end of this run of MK1. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm super hyped for Legacy Collection. Um, I mean, most of these games I've actually just played recently, with before this collection was announced. So I'm not necessarily like, oh my god, I can't wait to play this, but I am looking forward to conveniently play some of these games online with people and just have a hell of a time. Uh, I imagine I'll probably be spending most of my time with UMK3 and Mortal Kombat 4 is probably what I'm going to be spending most of my time with. Let me know what you guys think of this Legacy Edition, Legacy Collection. What game on the that's confirmed so far are you looking forward to playing the most? And what game that is not confirmed at the moment, that is not on the confirmation list, are you hoping comes back the most?